Name's Stuart McCullough. I'm a member of the board for sales and marketing at Bentley Motors.
How are sales and marketing going for Bentley, Stuart?
I guess we're in the same boat as everybody else at the moment. It's a tough market. The market's fallen quite considerably during the course of this year. Although for the US, I have to say we saw the first signs of it developing early in 2007. So it's a challenge at the moment, but then it is for all car companies.
So you saw an economic downturn in 2007?
We started to see the behaviour of some of our customers which anticipated that in 2007, yes. For us on a worldwide basis, 2007 was a record year. We sold 10,000 cars for the first time last year. But during that year we were seeing the US volumes starting to decline. But we were able to balance that out with sales in emerging markets like China and Russia. But of course, as we know, the market decline has picked up during the course of 2008, and the last 2 months particularly, September and October, has been very difficult for everybody.
Are you cutting back on staff or on workers?
Well, we've cut back on production. That's the first thing that we were keen to do. From our point of view, the nature of Bentley is as an exclusive brand, and so we're very anxious to make sure that we don't supply the market with more than the market needs. So we were able to cut back production really from the middle of the year. Of course, as the situation has accelerated, we've cut back a little harder.
So, Stuart, if one or even two of the big three went out, would it hurt you, and how would it hurt you?
Well, it would affect the industry in a number of ways. First of all, you'd have a fire sale of new and used cars, which would further reduce residual values, which are already under pressure. That writes off huge amounts of value on other parties' balance sheets. So if residual values fall, leasing companies have to make compensation for that, for example, finance companies. The supplier base doesn't depend on one manufacturer. Suppliers are affecting supplying multiple manufacturers, and very often the component is used in multiple products. So if one supplier topples as a consequence of that, then that affects the supply chain for every manufacturer. And you can't make cars if you don't have the parts, particularly when you're looking forward to new, more fuel-efficient technologies, the CO2 reducing technologies. There's an awful lot of cost sharing involved in the way that the components for those technologies are going to come through into the market, which is why I say the industry is in a very difficult state at the moment, and now's not a time to make radical changes to it.
Does it surprise you that the United States is even thinking that they wouldn't give the big three a bailout?
From where I sit at the moment, it does seem very strange indeed.
I'm asking a hypothetical question to every executive I'm interviewing this time. If China were to buy General Motors and India were to buy Chrysler, how would that change the dynamics in the United States and for your business?
Dynamics for the customer?
The dynamics of the auto industry.
That's a tough one. I'm not sure it would change it an awful lot at the moment. The situation we're in at the moment is unique. None of us have seen this kind of downturn before. And the things that are affecting car manufacturers would just as much affect them under Chinese ownership as Indian ownership. It's not just a drying up of demand in the market from customers. Suppliers under a huge pressure with the availability of credit to fund their business. Finance companies have got pressure in getting hold of wholesale finance. Customers have got difficulties in getting hold of their retail credit. So I'm not sure that changing the ownership of any car company at the moment would change matters materially. It is such an extraordinary event, and it's also not a time to judge the car industry or any of the players within the car industry, because this is unprecedented, this situation.
The fact that China would then be over in the United States with the distributorship as well as India?
Well, I'm not the best person to be able to play out how that would happen, what the consequences of that would be, but I think they would have just as much difficulty in managing the circumstances as anybody else. In fact, probably I'd hazard a guess they would have a bigger problem.
Stuart, thank you very much.
Okay.